Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Life here, and today we're going to be chatting about something that we really don't need to chat about. Or at least we shouldn't have to, but we do. At the time of recording, it is now just the very start of September. We are finally into that sort of arguably autumnal part of the year. Children are going back to school, the air's getting a little bit cooler except in the UK, where it's just doing this all the time. And in the latter half of the month, the Nintendo Switch Online service will launch and the world will be fine. The only thing is, we still basically don't know much about it. I was about to say we don't know anything, but we do know some stuff. In case you don't know what it is, just a quick refresher. Basically, this is going to be like Xbox Live or PlayStation Network, where basically you pay to be able to play games online. It's been free for, the past 18 months, the entire time the Switch has been out, but they have always said that they're going to have a paid service, and that is what this is. You also have the option to back up your save data to the cloud so that if something happens or something goes wrong and your Switch gets corrupted or it gets nicked or something like that, you can just say, that's annoying because that was an expensive thing. But then when you get your new Switch, you can just download Breath of the Wild again and continue on your 200-hour quest unabated just by downloading your save data, because that's how it do. It also comes with some dedicated offers for members, so maybe some sales on the eShop or something like that, so you can get 20% off a game that's still full retail price if you pay 20 quid a year, because that's it costs 20 quid a year. Well, $20, what is it? It's like 18 quid or something. Yeah, it's that. You also get access to a library of NES games or NES games, if you prefer, which you can just, we don't know whether you're downloading them or whether you're just streaming them. I presume maybe you can download them, because otherwise how would you do it on the go without an internet connection? And they have online functionality as well, so you can play online multiplayer with your friends if that's what you fancy, which is an interesting idea, but it's not exactly getting everybody frothing at the mouth. And that's all we know. That's all we know. And this is something that is coming out in like half a month, potentially. I mean, the latter half of September could be anywhere up until the end of September, of course, but even so, it could be as early as like the 16th or 17th. Yeah. And even to that point, we still don't know when exactly it's going to be. Is it just going to be overnight? One day you load up your Switch, you go to play Splatoon 2, and it goes, no, you need a subscription, you fool. Well, I imagine there would be more warning than that, but at the moment, we don't know whether there will be. This is the insanity we're dealing with here. Now, a couple of you might be thinking, well, so what? It's just, an online service. It's just to play games online. Do we need to know any more than that? Well, that is a fair point, but it's not really gonna hold up with all the words I'm gonna say. First thing that springs to mind is, how is this save data backup into the cloud going to work? Is it gonna be automatic every time you save, or maybe just, sort of every 24 hours? It just bumps all your save data up into the cloud and checks to see, is there anything new? Yes, you've played 5 hours in Breath of the Wild because you're addicted. Let's slam all that data, replace it, and then that's the new one in there and you're golden. But obviously there'd be no point in replacing any of the ones that are duplicates that you haven't changed at all. Or is it going to be something that you have to do manually? Do you have to go in and say, yes, I want to back up this save data? Because do you really want to do that for every single game? Do you want to have to go through, you're going to have to set aside time in a week when, every week, are you just going to have to go and just save all the data of the games you don't want to lose? I'd like to think not, but you don't know. And is there going to be a limit on how much you can upload? Because there are some games like Minecraft, and I think, is it NBA 2K18, which had like a 5 GB save file, or 4 GB. It was something ludicrous, because if you've got all of these, Minecraft has entire worlds and things like that saved. So we're talking gigabytes here. Is there going to be some sort of upper limit? Or is it just going to be an unlimited amount of storage? And if so, is something going to try and take advantage of that? I imagine not. I imagine there's some sort of upper limit. But if there is an upper limit, what is it? Are we going to be put in a situation where it's going to come up with a pop-up saying, no, you can't upload anymore? Or is it just going to stop? Which is, that's important, because this is our save data at the end of the day. And I know it's not necessarily worth any money, but we put time and effort into this stuff, you know? In an ideal world, when you pay for the subscription, then you should just maybe have a checkbox or something that says, yes, I'd like to back up my save data, or even just, you know, maybe even for each individual game, you go through and just say, yes, back up this save data, and the whole system goes, sure. And then you don't have to worry about it, because if something goes wrong with your Switch, or it gets stolen or something like that, the situation where you'd need to use the save cloud data, do backup shmoo, you don't have any preparation time. You don't sort of think, oh dear, my Switch is going to get stolen tonight because that man said he'd do it, so I better save up all my data because he gave me some warning so I could do just that. That just doesn't happen. I imagine a lot of the instances will be because it's something that's happened suddenly and unexpectedly, even if it's just some sort of corruption with that, just, you know, just that save data on its own. And actually, that's another point. If save data gets corrupted and therefore it's not usable, will the Switch upload that and say, yeah, this is now your backup, or will you be able to spool backwards through your backups, every day, daily backups? Will you be able to go back to, say, last Thursday when you knew that it absolutely worked and there wasn't any kind of corruption at all? And okay, you've lost a bit of progress, but it's better than starting the whole thing from scratch. Or are you just going to be stuck with some automated thing and you can only access the latest one? These are all problems that are starting to worry me. But I think that's enough about the save data. I just sort of started rambling, and all of a sudden what I thought was going to be a brief thing ended up quite long. So the NES thing, the NES games that you can play and they have online functionality and whip bam boom bam, that sounds fine, it's not, anything truly exciting. It sounds alright, but it's not, getting me absolutely mad. At the start of the service, there are going to be 20 games available, which, okay, 20 NES games for free, sort of 20 NES games included in the price, shall we say. That's fine, okay, 20 NES games, probably played them all before, but even so, it's a nice little thing to have. The only thing is, we only know of 10 of them. There are 10 other NES games that are going to come out on launch in just a few weeks, and we still don't know what they are. It's just silly. I mean, it's only a bonus little thing at the side, but surely we should know by now. I mean, Nintendo obviously knows because the service is going to be launching with 20 games, and we don't know what they are, and it's happening so soon. They must know. Why haven't they told us? And they've said that there are going to be other games added in the future. The original idea was a monthly thing, and it was going to be like a rental system, so you could play a game for a month, and then it's gone. And thankfully, I believe they've changed that so that it's more like a sort of a Netflix system. So you just have access to this library, and you can either download or stream, because they are just kilobytes of data. So really, you could stream a NES game with no difficulty whatsoever. You could literally just, your Switch would just download it to temporary files, and then when you're finished, it just goes whoop, and your save data, if you have it, is in the cloud maybe, or on your save your system. And I believe they were talking about SNES games as well, and okay, NES games, they're really, really sodding old and fairly primitive. Some of them are still great fun, don't get me wrong, but they are primitive games that have been played to death by a lot of people. SNES games, a little bit better, but they're still extremely straightforward to, you can play SNES games fairly easily these days. There's no sort of unusual sort of strange thing. There's loads of different ways that you can play them on your HD TV in a more comfortable way than using the original system, or indeed you can use the original system. That's all fine. It's nothing exciting, but it's fine. But I think what a lot of people are asking is it just going to be NES and SNES games, and are we not going to get a virtual console? Because I don't think I'm alone in saying I'd like to be able to play stuff like N64 games on a flat screen TV with no delay, and just be able to play it comfortably, and even better, play it on the go on the Switch. That'd be super. It's even worse considering I'm in the PAL region, and if you've only ever played an NTSC N64, don't touch a PAL one. I had no idea that my childhood was so hampered by borders and horrible resolutions and weird frame rates until I got older. There's also the talk of GameCube games on there, but we don't know whether we're gonna get them. Will we have to pay for them? I don't mind paying for these. I wouldn't mind paying for, say, Luigi's Mansion, be able to play it on the Switch, take it on the go, lovely. That'll be super duper, but is it going to be that, or is it going to be included in the service? Is it just going to be like, oh yeah, you can download Luigi's Mansion for free as part of your subscription? That would be amazing, but we don't know if we're getting it. And the issue is Nintendo's communication about this has been terrible. You know, if they just said up front, no, that we're not doing that, or we're doing something else, you know, that would be fine, you know, but at the moment we're just in this state of not knowing, and so everybody's ideas and minds are just running rampant, and it's damaging. And then there's the matter of the Nintendo Switch Online app, you know, that thing that you use on your phone, except you don't because it's not very good. I've said it before and I'll say it again, the idea of having a dedicated app so that you can use voice chat through the Switch that way wirelessly, so you're not, you know, connected up to your Switch with some enormous cable in lieu of, you know, like Bluetooth headsets and stuff like that, I'm fine with. You know, I think personally it's a really good idea in theory. But the execution is absolutely terrible. The audio quality is bad. You know, you're very limited in where you could do it. In like Splatoon 2, there are specific lobbies you have to select, rather than just going into an online game and being like, hey, Paul, what's happening, dude? You have to go into a special lobby and like pre-plan with your friends and say, we're gonna play Splatoon 2 and we're gonna do it with the Nintendo Switch Online voice chat, Switch app thing, and so make sure you do the special lobby that allows that. I mean, it's just insane. Yes, indeed, you could just use something like Discord or anything like that, but I mean, we've seen it with Fortnite, you know, rather than having something that acts like this own sort of this lump on the side of a game, just have it something like Fortnite, or just have the phone stream it from the Switch. So you just, in the chat, on the game, and it just, the sound comes through here. That would be super. And at the moment, that app only supports Splatoon 2. You literally cannot use voice chat on the Nintendo Switch through the first party means, because obviously Fortnite just has plug and play, hello. You can't do that with any other game. It is just Splatoon 2. You can't even do it in the menus and stuff like that, which would be the easy solution, so you don't have to, it doesn't matter what game you're playing, you can be playing Splatoon 2, you could be playing Breath of the Wild, and you could just be having a conversation with your friends, which some people do. I understand, yes, you can just use any third-party application like Discord, or, you know, even Skype if you want to go back to 2003. You know, it's fine, you know, and they work, and, you know, they're perfectly functional, and you have the whole thing of being wireless, so, you know, for me, that would solve the problem as well. But there are various instances, and if Nintendo were going to be offering it, where it would be beneficial to have something that's actually communicating with the Switch itself. And at the moment, the app just isn't really. It's just this lump on the side of Splatoon 2. And nothing else. So is it going to get an overhaul? Is it going to be the same thing as it currently is? We just don't know. It is coming out in a few short weeks, and we don't know anything. I don't want people to think that I'm sitting here saying, oh, it's a terrible idea, you know, paying for online, it should be free because communism. I'm perfectly happy to pay for an online service like this. I admit I would prefer not to pay for it, but if it means a better overall experience, then that'd be great. That's another thing we need to talk about. Is it going to be the case that when this goes live and we're starting to pay for this online service, that it's going to improve? I'll be honest, I haven't really had many issues at all with online with Nintendo's official services on the Switch. I had a few with the Wii U and maybe very occasionally on the Switch, but you know, most services have the same problem. I've seen people time and time again saying dedicated servers will make everything better, and that is a gross overgeneralization, and it is not as straightforward as that. For example, something like Splatoon 2 would probably actually benefit from being this whole peer-to-peer thing that we've got at the moment. But I'm not going to get into that, that's not what we're talking about. What I do want to know is the service going to improve in any way, or is it going to be the same service that we've been trialing since the start, but just paying for it? Because that seems a bit rubbish. I've actually just been looking through their FAQ and seeing their online services list, and they've got all the things that the Nintendo Switch Online has and the non-members don't, and there are some things that are shared like system updates and stuff like that, software updates, access to eShop, you know, basic gubbins, but save cloud data, you know, Nintendo Entertainment System, Nintendo Switch Online, these are all, you know, unique things. And then it's also got that you won't be able to use the Nintendo Switch Online app if you don't pay for it. Oh no! Seriously, if they're using that as a selling point, they really need to completely overhaul that app, because it is rubbish. Except Splatnet. Splatnet 2 is actually pretty good. overall. I don't use it that often, but when I have used it, it's been pretty good. You know, it's just responsive, useful little thing. You can just quickly load it up, see what am I going to be able to play tonight, and it lets you know. That's useful. You can order, you know, gear through the app. That's, you know, that is a good thing. But the chat's rubbish. So let's round this up. What do we not know so far with this service that we're expected to pay for to play things like Splatoon 2 online in just a mere few weeks? What don't we know yet? How are save data cloud backups going to work? Are they just going to happen automatically? Are we going to have to do it manually every time we want to back up some data? And if so, is it just going to be a quick case of, you know, just selecting a tick box and then it does it, you know, overnight or something? Or are we going to have to sit there and wait for it to upload? And if it, you know, whichever way it spins it, are we going to be able to go through previous versions of that backup up to say, you know, even just a couple of weeks or something like that? Or is it just going to be the most recent one? And if you accidentally upload the corrupted one, is it going to be basically useless? We don't know. There are 10 NES games that are as yet unaccounted for, which is one of the big selling points in Nintendo's eyes of the service. There are supposed to be 20, we only know of 10. We also don't know if there are going to be any other systems. Maybe SNES, I think, has been sort of mentioned in the past, but now it's sort of being skirted around. And even if it is SNES and NES, is it going to stop there? Or are we going to get N64? Are we going to get GameCube? And if we are, or if we're not, is there going to be any other way that we can play these games on our Switch? You know, the Virtual Console was a big deal. It was a great way, and arguably in many instances, the best way to play certain games. You know, you could play the Wind Waker, even if it's not Wind Waker HD, you could just play Wind Waker from the GameCube on the go, on a flat screen, and not, you know, trying to go through all these various different things. The N64 is a big thing because there really isn't that much beyond very expensive mods that do HDMI out in order to play these classic games on a system, well, on a TV that is comfortable. And then you can also play it on the go. Are there going to be any improvements to the service, or is it going to be the same thing that we've been having so far in terms of, you know, things like ping and latency and all that gubbins, but paying for it? Is Smash Online going to be reliable? That's a big thing we didn't cover, but it's too vague because the game isn't even out yet. What are these special offers that we get from paying for the service going to actually be? We just don't know. Is it going to be, you know, sort of 5% off anything? Or is it going to be 10% off anything? Or is it just going to be certain sales are only, you know, locked to paying members? Is it going to be, you know, you get a free game every so often, like Xbox Live Gold, games with gold and that sort of stuff, and PlayStation, nah. We don't know what we're getting, and we're expected to pay for it. How are they going to pan this out? I don't know. I would like to think that we'll get some sort of Nintendo Direct in the next couple of weeks, ideally this week or next week, that explains everything in much greater detail and gives, you know, just gives people peace of mind so that we know what we're paying for and isn't just some sort of vague update that appears on a website, and it actually breaks it down. And then we'll have the 6.0 firmware update, and that'll sort of pave the way for Nintendo Switch Online, and at least we'll know. Because right now, we can't say whether it's worth it, because we don't know. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you ramble to that subscribe button for far longer than you thought you were going to, and I'm actually quite pleased because it's all about watch time these days, isn't it? To that subscribe button, and be sure to check out NintendoLife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo-related content. Thank you again for watching. Bye-bye. I'm perfectly happy to pay for an online service. You know, I did it with Xbox Live